News 12 Midday.
Good afternoon. Election day finally here. Polls are open right now for the 2022 midterm elections. We're on your side covering races in both Georgia and South Carolina.
And there are some big ones. We're going to have all-day coverage on air and online for you. And right now we have crews standing by live for us across Atlanta following both the Senate and governor races, two of the biggest races in the country. And coming up, we're going to tell you how those candidates are spending the final moments of their campaign. Craig Allison is in Atlanta for us covering Stacey Abrams' campaign. So, Craig, we know she's been here for before. What is she doing differently this time around? Their team's hoping will really give her that push she needs to pull out a win.
Well, Laura, for Stacey Abrams, it's all about taking the offensive and using Brian Kemp's record against him. She's sticking to two key main issues, which is going into crime and being pro-choice heading into this election. Now, while crime and abortion are two of the three biggest issues for Georgians heading to the polls, the economy is also a big one, where Abrams is tying this into her campaign and is emphasizing how conservative policy would push Democrats out of the state. Back in our exclusive interview with Abrams from September, she emphasized how the entertainment industry brought in more than $4 billion, but that could financially suffer with policies like solidifying the heartbeat law. And while we are currently outside here at the Hyatt Regency in downtown Atlanta, in just a few hours, we'll be taking you inside there with us for the watch party, but we'll keep you inside the loop.
We know those are going to be some tense minutes, and we will definitely be checking in with you throughout the night, Craig. Thanks for that update. Tim? Now to another highly competitive race in Georgia, this one for the governor's seat. Governor Kemp currently in that seat, hoping to get reelected for another 4-year term.
Meanwhile, Democrat Stacey Abrams looking to bounce back from that narrow loss in her run for governor against Kemp back in 2018. Stacey Abrams hit the campaign trail hard this election season. Her camp spent most of yesterday sending out texts and making phone calls, just reminding people to get out and vote today.
And News 12's Craig Allison picks up our Georgia Senate race coverage with the governor's race with the Abrams campaign. He's also in Atlanta. Craig?
Well, security sweeps are underway, but we're inside the Hyatt Regency and just outside of the Stacey Abrams watch party. Now, while the atmosphere is pretty calm right now for the setup, the energy has been going high all day long. Stacey Abrams has taken the early part of today to visit a restaurant in Lithonia and doing a number of radio interviews before locking in here at the Regency tonight. One of the biggest things her campaign has emphasized today is going out to vote while there's still daylight. A big factor playing into the confidence tonight, as it was a part of her efforts to register Georgians to vote that helped turn the Peach State blue back in 2020. With a record number of voters turning out for early voting in this midterm, they're hoping to create some magic twice and make another blue push amid the political conversation of a red wave under Biden. And sure enough, we'll soon be inside the watch party and show off that energy with y'all back in the CSRA. And on News 12 First at 5, we're hearing from Judge Hatchett, who has been a part of the campaign trail since day one for this 2022 run, and says they're feeling confident and energetic heading into tonight.
Georgia Republican Governor Brian Kemp and the Democratic challenger Stacey Abrams locked in a tight race, both candidates making their way all over the state in the last week.
Abrams lost to Kemp back in 2018, but that did not stop her from keeping her name at the top of everyone's mind and running again. If elected, Abrams will be the first black woman to serve as governor in the United States. Craig Allison has been covering her campaign all day long. He says her team has been working on a different strategy to try to pull off a win this time.
Well, security sweeps are about to wrap up here, but from there, we'll be inside of this ballroom for the rest of the night. We have a nice and high spot, which you will be able to see everything once we get underway. In the meantime, we caught up with TV personality Judge Glenda Hatchett, who has been with Stacey Abrams not only since day one of this campaign, but going back to when she was a student at Spelman College. Her faith in Abrams extends to this rematch, where she says she has complete faith despite her loss back in 2018. She says that this time around, the demographic has extended with the number of people Miss Abrams has been able to register to vote. And on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we'll continue to follow along as security sweeps wrap up here and people file in.
Big night in Atlanta. Craig, thank you for that.
Feel like deja vu? Brian Kemp and Stacey Abrams are facing off again in a rematch from 2018. Since Abrams lost in 2018, she's branded herself as a voting rights advocate, hoping to finish what she started 4 years ago.
Meanwhile, Governor Kemp touting his accomplishments after leading the state through a global pandemic.
Kemp's challenger, Stacey Abrams, hopes to become Georgia's first Democratic governor in almost 20 years, as well as replace the man who narrowly won the last election. Our Craig Allison live for us at the Hyatt Regency in Atlanta. He's been tracking Stacey Abrams' campaign all day. So, Craig, what's the energy been like?
Well, Laura, we just got into the watch party. We had a little bit of a hiccup there, but security is being very thorough and letting us into the watch party here. I'm not sure how this will delay letting regular attendees come in. They're supposed to schedule to come in 7:30, but regardless, we are on. We're all in here, and we've just piled in. Kind of touching back on what Alyssa was saying earlier about our competitor, or Stacey Abrams' competitor, Brian Kemp, going into this election, just toting back to 2020, is kind of bringing in the fact that she got lots of Georgians registered to vote for that blue wave in that presidential election. And that's what she's coming into with this rematch from 2018 and why she's going to be able to come back 2022 from her campaign. Now, we are just setting up here, but we'll continue to bring you up to date with what's going to be going on, who will be coming in, and any speeches that might be coming in later on, probably past 7 p.m.
Yep, we're expecting a long night. Craig, thanks for the live update there from the Abrams headquarters.
Tonight, Georgia will either have 4 more years of Brian Kemp, or it could elect the first black female governor in the entire country.
These two have been going back and forth in the polls at each other all election season, but over the last 24 hours, Governor Kemp has been focusing on his accomplishments as the main reason voters should choose him again.
And Kemp's challenger, Stacey Abrams, hopes to become Georgia's first Democratic governor in almost 20 years, as well as the person who replaces the man she narrowly lost to in the last election. Our Craig Allison live for us at the Hyatt Regency in Atlanta. He's tracking Stacey Abrams' campaign. Craig, what can you tell us?
Well, Laura, we're settled here at the Hyatt Regency in downtown Atlanta. We did have a bit of a security snag, but we should see regular attendees starting to file in within the next 30 minutes or so. Now, talking about the woman of the hour and her track record, we're talking about a lot of history-making moments. In 2010, she became the first woman to lead any party in the Georgia General Assembly and the first black leader in the House of Representatives. In 2018, she became the first black woman to become a governor nominee for either party in the U.S. And if she wins this seat, she'll be the first black female governor in U.S. history. So while she may have been out of office since 2017, she's got a track record that her and her campaign are confident in winning tonight.
The attempts to undermine democracy in this country, for Stacey to be governor and for people who are of like mind to be lieutenant governor and secretary of state and all the way down the line, is important to us. And Stacey is the right person for this time.
Now, we're going to be here all night, so please stick with us. And we're going to have even more content on our Facebook Live coverage in between the next few hours from our 11 p.m. show. So please stick with us as we'll come with more.
Okay, Greg, we'll check back in with you as some of those results start to pour in.
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12, NBC 26 at 11.
Good evening. We've had a front row seat for this historic night for Georgia and the nation, inching closer to those final results in tonight's election. Our reporters are standing by live for us in Atlanta, ready to bring us live coverage from both the U.S. Senate and the Georgia governor's race.
In the Governor Kemp's race, we have Craig. He's standing by live. He is also at a watch party in Atlanta. He's staying with us at the Stacey Abrams campaign. Can you hear yourself think there?
Yeah, I can hear you there in the studio, Laura. Right now, the energy here is starting to fill in with some more people, but the music is filling those empty spaces. Right now, the thing that we're all waiting for is for Stacey Abrams to speak. We've had a lot of speakers tonight, including the mayor of Atlanta, yet we have not heard from Stacey Abrams herself, seen her, heard from her, anything of that nature. It is a bit of a daunting task with a 9% lead with the incumbent Brian Kemp, but right now, I just saw a surge of people start to file in. So maybe we might hear from her before the end of the night. But right now, the music just keeps on bumping, keeps filling the room, and people are just moving and grooving while we wait for that final result.
Everybody focused on the same thing. Craig, thanks for the update there from Stacey Abrams.
15% could come back. Right at this very minute, we're going to take you live because Stacey Abrams is taking the stage after Brian Kemp has won the governor's race in Georgia. Let's listen in.
We'll keep an ear on that for you and let you know more about what her campaign has to say. Live coverage online continues after this newscast. Thanks for being with us tonight.